Alright, so more between us. We made a mistake last time of saying that it was question number 7 or something like that. Number 9, but it's actually question number 7. So we are doing question number 9 today. So
the claw. Push your hands. You know what I'm talking about?
Alright. On the other thing. Ahjuxue 가위바위보. 가위바위보.
Booyah! Banga, banga, banga.
What were some of your nicknames growing up, including the ones you didn't want to stick?
You first.
I have... Okay, yeah. I don't have that nickname with me anymore, but I used to hate it. But no, the good nicknames that, you know, it still sticks to me nowadays. I'm gonna start with good and I'll go with bads. Like the good ones that still stick with me today that my, you know, even my kids call me. I'm just gonna give you guys the initial. It's like YY. That's like the ending part of my name, and it's like my kids call me that. And like back when I was in like middle school, I have friends who started calling me that because the ending part of my name, you know. And then sometime my name was too long, so when they write stuff for me, they write shy, S-H-Y. They just write shy, and that's me. And so I know that's me, and I didn't have a problem with it. And so, but yeah, but I had that for a while until I reached like high school, and then everybody just started calling me by like the beginning part of my name. And what was annoying was that, like, I think it was my senior year, and I was supposed to go pick up my ID card, but I went to have lunch instead. And then one of my aunt, she was around my age too, so we go to high school together. And she went to pick up my ID card for me, and she picked up another girl's ID card.
No.
Because she didn't even, I'm like, here's like the funny thing, like, she picks it up, and then she brings it to me, and she looks at it. She goes, oh, let me take a look at my niece's ID card and see how it looks like. And she looks at it. She goes, this isn't my niece. Like, that other girl, she's a friend of my aunt as well. She had the beginning part of my first name, and she had the same last name as me. So my aunt just picked that up, and because they kept calling me by the beginning part of my name only. Sorry, my hair, the fan's on. So, like, she came and she goes, I'm supposed to go get your ID for you, but this is not you. And I'm like, you're my aunt. How can you get my name wrong? So I had to go wait in line and pick up my ID card. And then she had to go and find that friend and give it to her and be like, I'm sorry, I took your ID card. Yeah, but, I don't know. I mean, after high school, everybody just called me by my full name, so I just stick with it.
Yes.
But one of the things that I do not like growing up was the nickname that I got, and it kept sticking on, was when the word faggot was around. Like, don't laugh, okay?
It's not a bad word.
Yeah, but I didn't know what it meant then. Yeah. And like, one of my other cousin was actually like defending me for it. So I have some cousins who call me that. They kept calling me faggot and fag. And it stuck. But I had no idea what it meant. I just felt like it was so... Like, it didn't mean anything good. To be very honest with you guys, there are a lot of things and a lot of slang and a lot of stuff that I don't know. And I'm really like... Because I'm just not into that social thingy or like, you know, learning it. So even nowadays, like... I just see saying certain things to me, I'll be like, I don't know what it means. And he still would have to explain it to me. Like, this happened like in the 90s. Where were you then? And I'll be like, I don't know, not paying attention, you know? So they call me fag and faggot a lot. And I didn't get it. And then one of my cousins who came over for like the holidays and we were hanging out, my other cousin kept calling me that. And it stuck for a very long time. And then my other cousin was like, why do you guys keep calling her that? That's so rude. Like, that's not her. You know? And then she explained to me, and I'm like, oh my god, that's what they've been calling me this whole time.
Yeah, in fact, there is a meaning to it, but the actual word fag it's kind of like wood. Like
yeah, so
stuff.
Yeah, so they were calling me that for a while, but yeah. But this fan. We'll sit closer. But yeah, I don't have any nickname now besides, you know, Agashe calls me Ahjuxue. Ahjuxue! Agashe, call me Agashe, and
Agashe calls her Agashe. You just failed again.
Agashe call me Agashe, but before that he was calling me Agi.
I just call her Love now.
Yeah, so I get if nicknames from like your significant other counts, then yeah, he calls me Love.
I also call her Gamong.
Yeah,
But,
it's okay.
mm,
What about you?
I had a lot,
Of course.
but nothing really stuck.
Oh.
Other than the ones that you call me now. Other than Ahjuxue. Like, really, Ahjuxue is kind of like what stuck the longest. But I had a lot.
I used to call him Oppa. So this is the story of how it changed to Agashe. Oh my god. There's something wrong with me today. I'm not awake. But how Agashe stuck was when we started watching a lot of Running Man, and then how Jihyo would call the rest of the members Oppa, and so I started calling him Oppa, and then because it used to be like Honey or Han, and then Oppa, and then it was before Goblin too, so like we were joking around because he always makes fun of me that like when he brings up like stuff that happens in like the 90s and stuff like that, or like the 80s, I would like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It didn't exist, apparently.
Like, it's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Or he listens to the song, he'll be like, oh my god, this was like the shit back in like the 80s and 90s.
No, just 90s. We're the same age.
Let me finish this thing. And so I just don't get what he's saying. And so I'm like, you're like, so I made this joke that like, he's like 10 years older than me. And like instead of being like right now like the same age of 27, he was like 37, and then he just like no, and then he's like no, and I was like yes, because you know so much thing, and you're like old, that you know all these stuff, and you're like teaching me all these things, and I'm like so lost. I'm like young and everything, and you're like old, and that's when the name Ahjuxue stuck. And I just call him Ahjuxue since then. And then when we were watching Goblin, and how like Gongyu is like extremely old, and she calls him Ahjuxue, and I'm like, see, Ahjuxue.
It works perfectly.
Yeah, so he's my Ahjuxue, and like everything I do, like people is always like, even my family, they laugh when I first started calling him Ahjuxue. I'm like, Ahjuxue, come here, and they're like, why are you calling him that? It's like, yeah, it's old.
Yeah, I had a lot of nicknames. Sewer. At work, I'm known as Zoom.
I know.
And there's Agashe. And then there's the nicknames my mom gave me. And there's the nicknames my family gave me. I'm not going into those details. But they don't really like, sure, do they stick? Yeah, but I don't really like claim them. Yeah. The only one that I really claim is what you call me and what my workplace calls me, because I have to answer to that.
Yeah, but what is it?
Mine. What's the worst thing you ever did as a child, and what was your punishment?
You go first.
I did a lot of bad things as a kid.
I knew it.
But I didn't really get punished for all of them because I
got away with it?
Well, it wasn't that I got away with it. I just...
Didn't care? Parents didn't notice?
Either they didn't know,
get caught?
or I hurt myself to the point where my mom was just like, well, there's no
too
point.
worried to punish you.
There's no point punishing him because he already kind of punished himself over being an idiot. So.
Name one.
Worst thing. Let's see. I'm gonna cycle through this, and there might be some that she don't know, and then there might be some that she already knows.
I said name one.
Well, I'm gonna name a few because I did a lot of bad things. When I was, I really remember this. When I was 5, 6, I touched. There was, like the plugs for the power thingy. This whole thing. I took it out of the wall socket and I plugged it back in, and it shocked me. After learning, many years down the road, you learn about the truth about doing that, and you're kind of like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm still here to this day. But I guess that happened to me really like burned it into my nerves of my memory, so I remember it forever now.
Ahjuxue is such a bad kid. It worries me about not having a daughter. It worries me about having a son.
I fell off a tree because I was climbing a ladder, and so the branch broke, and so the ladder turned around, and then I fell off. And it apparently, like, the broken part apparently like scratched my back, and it was bleeding, and I never knew about it. I didn't know about it that whole day until I was changing, and I noticed that there was like this brown patch on my back, and when I looked, there was just blood stain, and my back was dry already. But thank God, like, it wasn't like stabbed through or something. And then I fell off a car. My brother, he was back when I was living back in Singer, and I was sitting. I don't know what was going through our heads, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in my car. I'm gonna drive it. Go ahead." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll sit on the trunk." And this is like a Toyota Eclipse. Okay, so this isn't like some truck. This is some small little sports car, and I'm sitting on the trunk, and I'm like, okay. I hold on to like the trunk, like the little cracks of the trunk, and I'm like, okay, I'm secure. So he's kind of just going slowly, rolling by, and it's like, ooh, kind of fun. And then he jokingly guns it, like pushes it. Boom! Next thing you know, I'm in midair. I'm telling you, this is how it felt. It felt like that. Like I was in midair. Everything was slow, and I could hear the car driving off. Next thing you know, boom! I hit the ground, and it's on rocks. So it's like, those small little rocks. So I'm like on the small little rocks, and my elbows are gashed, my back is gashed. My brother breaks, and he comes running out, and he's like, "And brother, I know I'm not saying your name, but you know who you are." He comes running out, and he's like tripping. He's like, "Oh my god, are you okay?
Mom's gonna kill me."
And I think I was in so much pain on that part where I couldn't say a word. I was shocked. Like, I was literally shocked. Like, how did I wasn't even thinking about the pain. I was thinking, how did I fly off? And, and so, stuntmen are probably like doing this right now if they hear this story. And so he's like, "Oh my god, here, get up." And we kind of slowly go to the car, and then boom, my mom comes out from the back door to the backyard, and we like see it. So he kind of just like carries me, throws me in the car. We get in his car, he just guns it, he leaves, and we just take off to the store. And he's like, "Don't tell anybody about this." So I don't think so. I never told my mom, never told my parents. I think it's truly something that him and we both only know, and now the whole world knows. But
the brother who sees this, he probably knows who he is.
There was the time in which I ran out, and back when I was still living in the countryside, I was too lazy to put on sandals running outside, so if I had to go get something, I would just run bare feet. And when I did that, I saw this 2x4, this long 2x4, and I was like, okay, maybe I just run and jump on it, and well, there was this piece of wood like sticking out like this, like a triangle. And I hit the heel, my left heel against it, and it split my heel like that. And I was bleeding, it hurt like crazy. And then I went I washed it and had my mom put medicine on it. But I mean, she yelled at me, but I mean, there was no way. She was like, "Well, how am I gonna punish him?" He kind of punished himself. It's kind of one of those things.
That's why you wear shoes when you go outside.
I'm pretty sure she said that to me.
Damn, I just
There's.
He has a lot.
There's a lot, but I think if I had to say the worst one of all those stories, I'd say falling off the car. It was truly something in which I had never experienced before in my life, and I hope I never experience ever again. and I really like the only like I still remember the only thought in my head once I flew off was, don't lean your head back. Just keep it forward. And I think if I had leaned my head back,
we did.
Either that or let me like a pile of blood stretch on the rocks like a horror film, or I'd be in some serious pain and my brother would be in some serious trouble. But I think that one is probably the worst thing I did as a kid. And it wasn't even like I was a kid. I was like a teenager.
See,
but
now you're gonna hear my story. The only thing I remember, the only two things I remember getting more like 3. 2, 3 that I got punished for. The other 2, I did not do it. It was not my fault. I got blamed for it. And well, the first one was I was the only child, and I was staying over at my grandparents' house, and they had my cousins over, and my older cousin took her sister, and they carried his sister, and they went to the closet, and they came out, and she gave her sister, the older one gave the younger sister a makeover, had the hair. And so I saw that. I came home. And I took my mom's scissor and I went to the closet and I snipped my hair.
Snip, snip.
I have those pictures, but it's like somewhere in a box, like stored away. But like this part was like...
It's called Pandora's box.
It's like spiking up. And so my mom saw me doing that. And my mom, the only punish I got was, I had to sit with my hand out and she like hit my hand with like a ruler or something like that. And that was it. And I never did it again. And I was never a naughty kid. And I never just did anything. That was my punishment. As that was something bad I did as a kid. And I got punished for. And then the other 2 were all my sister's fault. And I got blamed for it. So you guys see my video vlogs of my lazy sister just sitting around, that lazy pig. So the first one, I think I was in kindergarten or first grade. And she's younger than me. She's like 5 years younger than me. And she was only like, little then. And we were playing under the blanket. She kept jumping. And so she jumped and her chin went forward and hit the table. And it cracked open the bottom of her chin. And she's like crying. And I got punished for that. That it was my fault. Well, my head is like, you big. If you didn't jump and go like that, it would have never happened. And I cried because I got yelled at. And then the second one that I got blamed at, which like now she admits to my parents that it was never my fault. I think I was.
It doesn't matter anymore.
I know, like I think it doesn't even matter anymore. I'm sorry for my bad language, but I got bitched so bad that night. I cried so hard. I cried myself to sleep. And it is something that I will never ever forgive my sister and my parents on. That I took a blame for something that I did not do. Like, it just changed me to this person where I'm like self-conscious of doing shit with her. Because, I'm going to get blamed for it. So, her and I were playing as if, I think I was in like elementary, like 4th or 5th grade. And we were playing on the bed, and then we're holding onto the bed frame and be like, oh, the ship is sinking, we're falling. And so she goes and hit her own arm, and her elbow got dislocated. And her arm was like that. And so she's like crying. But like, she's like in pain, But I didn't even like know, because I didn't even touch her. And she goes and tells my parents that her arms hurt. And my parents are touching it. It's like at 2 piece, wobbling. And then my parents are like, what did I do? And I'm like, I didn't do anything. And my brother being an ass, like a 5-year-old, whatever, sitting there going, I didn't do anything. I was playing by myself. They're fighting over there. So she ain't probably, that's me, probably hit her. And so I got so mad. I'm like, I didn't do anything. And so my parents kept bitching at me, like, what did I do to her? I need to tell her what I did to her. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I literally was like swearing to God that I did not do anything. So my parents rushed her to the emergency office, room, hospital, and they were like, it's okay. Just, like little monkeys jumped off the bed and elbow dislocated. And they just clucked it back in. It was back to normal. And like, I've been like, and then that night, like, I was left home alone with like my grandparents in the living room, and I cried myself to sleep. And the next day, like, I just didn't speak to my parents.
Traumatic experience.
Yeah. Ahjuxue, do you not know about this?
I remember this.
Yeah, and like, I just didn't speak to my sister that day, you know, and I just been like self-conscious since then. And like, even now in days, like, I don't do shit where it's gonna get me in trouble. I don't care if I'm 27-year-old and that little pig is 22. I don't do shit where I'm gonna get in trouble with her. Like, it just became that. And like, you know, she finally admitted to my parents that like, she never did anything to me. I did it myself. And I just put the blame on her. So that was something that I took a blame for as a kid. And I was in so much pain. And I cried so much. Like, I think about it. It still hurts me. Like, yeah. I was blamed for something I never did.
I'm changing mine. Because I remember mine now. I remember the worst one.
Good boy.
And it's physically left a scar on me for truth. My brother and I have 3 brothers, okay?
She has a big family.
I have a big family, I have 3 brothers.
I have a tiny family.
So, the brother who I fell off his car is different from this brother.
As his second brother.
I love football, American football. We love American football. And so, back when we were in elementary school, we live in this house where there, you know, the old school house that has like the tiny hallways and stuff. And we played football.
Indoor.
In the hallway of all places. My parents always had this rule about playing ball games inside the house that you're going to break something. And at some point you're going to break yourself. That's what they always say.
Yes, so
and my family, we played kickball, we broke frames, we broke pictures. My mom had this like mini grandpa clock style where it had like the little swinging pendulum. We broke that because we kicked the ball and it hit it. It wasn't me, but one of my siblings did. But my brother and I, we decided to play football. So I get the ball, I'm running in this tiny little hallway, and he runs, and he tackles me. And my head, the corner of the wall is like this. My head hits that corner right here. And I still have a scar on my head forever, and like, it's there. And it hit, and it dented the corner. And when that happened, I was like, you know, my head. And, you know, typically everyone's like, you know, hold your head. And I removed my hand, and like, it felt like hot. So I removed my hand. And my hands were covered in blood, like it was red, like horror film blood. And when I saw it, I panicked. I was like, oh! I panicked. And my brother panicked. And we were like, oh! And then we were like, okay, we're not going to tell anybody. Well,
he left.
We thought we were all smart. And I touched, when we went around the hallway to the restroom, there's a closet, a sliding door closet in that hallway. And it was open. And so I touched that wall. And like, we ran around. So we washed my hand, put billabong on it.
Some Thai medicine.
Put some Thai medicine that we call billabong. We put it on there. And
billabong.
And that's what I called it when I was a kid. So I've always just called it that. And so, and so, I was crying. My siblings, they were like, "What'd you guys do?" And then we were like, okay, so we like almost like the siblings that are involved. I can't remember everybody, but I just know that my brother and I, we made like this truce. We are not telling our parents. You know, they're not gonna find out about it.
Yeah, they did.
Well, my mom came home. My parents came home, and the first thing my mom walked into the hallway, and she goes, "What did you guys do? Why is there blood on the wall?" And we were like, "Huh? What? Huh?" Playing stupid. And she goes, "Right there." And so my siblings, they're just like, "Oh, that's it." So we told the truth. My mom was mad. My parents were mad. But again, it's one of those things where, you know, they're gonna be like, well, you punished yourself, you hurt yourself. We're gonna chew you out, but we're not gonna beat you up. You've already beat yourself up. And that's the worst one, I think. I mean, of all of them, because my head got busted open. So now I've been traumatized. Where if I feel on my head, if I hit my head and I feel and it's like hot, I would think I'm bleeding. Then I would look and I'll like kind of like worry, and it happens all the time for me about that. Yeah, man, like, but the weird thing is that my parents punished me over some of the most trivial things, like getting bad grades. I got punished for that. I had to kneel on stones and put books in my hands, and get spanked on the butt, with a stick over getting like a C in class, or F,
You go to college, you don't care about that.
And, or, you get in trouble for arguing or defying them, going out when you're not supposed to. But it was one of those things where if I did something and like I hurt myself, my parents would just be like, well, we're not gonna.
You guys see the difference now?
We're not gonna kill you for it.
I just shoot.
You kind of killed yourself already.
Yeah, but it worries me of my future children's.
Like, the turtle biting on the cheek. That wasn't my fault. It was my cousin. Cousin, you know who you are. Okay.
Yes. Whew. That was some good questions for us to go on long for. But yeah, we will see you guys next week on More Between Us.
I don't know how I'm still here to this day.